Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Real Wisdom Artificial Intelligence. So it's slightly chilly, but a beautiful, bright day here in Boston. I'm out on my morning walk. The audio is not going to be great. There may actually be a train that might pass in between on the bridge, Longfellow Bridge that is behind me. However, let's go ahead and do this. So let's get started. Today is November 15th. The Sadhguru Insight on the Miracle of Mind app today read, "Truth is not hidden, you are hiding from it." So, reflecting on this, I've been recently reading my friend Saj Shah's book, Joynetics. It is an incredible book. I highly recommend all of you to read it. In that book, Saj talks about the difference between perceived realities and observed realities. And he talks about this concept called ladder of inference, which Chris Argyle came up with in 1970 and was later popularized by Peter Senge in his book in 1990s, and now is taught in all academic institutes. And that is honestly how artificial intelligence also works. So we all start with a set of observed data, which is the real reality. And then from that, we come up with, through this ladder of inference, eventually come up with beliefs which become our perceived reality. And then the belief influences the data that we observe and select from the observed data and further reinforcing the belief. So that is how we all live in our own echo chambers, our own biases, and that those are the perceived realities. For artificial intelligence, the great thing is it does not have as many biases inherently because it doesn't have an identity, as I said in the past. However, process of selecting the data and the inferencing process is bound to create a perceived reality or a belief which is different from the ground reality. And that is why AI hallucinates. However, as you would have realized through the ladder of inference and how we go from the observed reality to the perceived realities or beliefs, we all hallucinate as well. The fact that we all hallucinate is honestly not a bad thing. As Yuval Noah Harari has captured in his brilliant book, Sapiens, we jumped our place in the evolutionary hierarchy because of our ability to tell each other stories and bind behind those stories. This is how any group works. This is the power of even an organization. And we often at Venturies Inc. talk about the organizational narrative being the strength of any organization. And that is absolutely true. Having a story that we can bind a group of humans together is very powerful. However, knowing that that story is a perceived reality and using it as our superpower is the beauty of humanity. Realizing the difference between what is a perceived reality and versus what is an observed reality, that is the journey from intelligence to consciousness. That is the Rashmi journey. And if we have to really have humans lead in this the age of AI, it is imperative that we embark on this journey. So with that, today's dose of Rashmi is unconscious intelligence gets attached to perceived realities and acts out of that. Wisdom, on the other hand, is knowing the true ground reality and stop hiding from it. So, hope that makes sense. Thank you.